Recognize the efforts of individuals and groups from the Ateneo de Manila University who have exemplified excellence in sports, in socio-civic engagements, and in leadership and service. These students are recognized for their contribution to nation building and for being symbols of hope. The search for these worthy exemplars culminates today. Welcome to Paghahandog 2021, a celebration of student leadership and service. Mga mahal na kaibigan, magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Ariel Diccion mula sa Kagawaran ng Filipino, Paaralan ng Humanidades. At ako ang magiging tagapagdaloy ng ating pagdiriwang sa araw na ito. Today, we will be giving out several sets of recognitions, namely the Loyola Schools Awards for Sports, the Ateneo Socio-Civic Engagement for National Development or ASCEND Awards, and the Loyola Schools Awards for Leadership and Service, which is comprised of the awards for Most Outstanding Project, Most Outstanding Student Group, and Most Outstanding Individual. Sa araw pong ito, iniaalay natin ang ating mga napagtagumpayan sa lahat ng ating mga nakatuwang, mga nakatulong, at gayon din sa ating mga natulungan sa loob at labas ng ating pamantasan. To give the welcoming remarks and a heartfelt message to our passionate and inspiring student leaders, let us all welcome the Vice President for the Loyola Schools, Dr. Maria Luz C. Vilches.
I want to welcome you all to this auspicious occasion, which is titled Paghahandog. It's a celebration of leadership and service. And I want to congratulate especially the seniors who have excelled in leadership and service in the Loyola schools, especially at this time when it's quite difficult, to move about. You don't have enough elbow room for maneuver in this pandemic. But since you are good leaders and you have spent all your talents and abilities, dedication for work, and dedication because of your passion, I congratulate you. We're very, very proud of you, students in the Loyola schools. And remember that down from here, there will be more opportunities for service. And remember that when you're out there in the real world, as they say, there is nothing too small that will not make a difference. I'm just paraphrasing what Greta Thunberg has already said, and I'm sure you know that. So congratulations, and I wish you well. I wish you success in this endeavor, in service, in leadership, and in love. Take good care.
Maraming salamat Dr. Vilches sa inyong mensahe para sa ating mga estudyante. Salamat din sa paalala sa maaaring dakilang bisa o epekto ng mga munting gawain. And speaking of great things coming out from small acts, let us now proceed with our first awards for today, the Loyola Schools Awards for Sports. Traditionally, these awards celebrate the excellent display of leadership by our school's athletes as they bring to the fore not just their skill, in their respective sport, but also their commitment to the ideals of Ateneo. Mens sana in corpore sano, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, and magis. Sa kasamaang palad sa taong nakaraan dahil sa pandemya, nahinto ang lahat ng paglalaro ng esports sa buong daigdig. In the Ateneo, the last athletic match happened back in March 2020. While we missed out on the opportunity to witness our student athletes compete and put their amazing skills on display, this has in turn given them the chance to redirect their energy and effort to help out our kababayans in need. As such, the traditional Moro Lorenzo Sportsman and Sportswoman Awards and the Ambrosio Padilla Athlete of the Year Award are taking a back seat in this year's Paghahandog. The Office of College Athletics and the Guidon would instead like to present special citations for our student athletes and sports teams who lived out the school's ideals in the form of civic engagements this past year. We now recognize and honor these student athletes and sports teams for touching people's lives through their one big fight.
Our project, Play Your Part, is a fundraising initiative created by the Ateneo men's and women's football teams. So we did this by setting up our fundraising channels through a GoFundMe page and opening up our GCash and PayMaya accounts that would allow people to send in donations no matter how big or how small. We created this initiative basically as a means to support our coaching staff financially as they navigate through this very difficult time.
Eventually, our call to action evolved when our fellow countrymen were affected by typhoons, especially Typhoon Ulysses. So with that in mind, we decided to donate a portion of the proceeds to Ateneo Dream Team's initiative, Tulong sa Pag-ahon, on top of distributing the funds to our coaching staff who were affected by the typhoons. The donation drive really was a team effort, not only from the players and the managers but also the coaching staff themselves, with a few who willingly gave their shares to those who needed it more.
So when we started this school year, given that it was pandemic, we had to look for ways for the team to bond together online. Then Typhoon Ulysses happened during that time, and since the country was already struggling with the pandemic, then it was an added struggle for the citizens who were affected by Typhoon Ulysses. We decided to come together as a team to try to donate and ask for donations for those affected by the typhoon.
So we decided to partner up with the Office of the Vice President because when the typhoon first hit, we saw how active they were in terms of their relief programs and relief efforts. So working together with them would mean that we would be able to reach a lot of people, and we would also be able to extend our help to those who need it the most.
Hats off to the Ateneo men's and women's swimming teams, the Ateneo men's and women's football teams, and to the individual athletes Marge Mangiat, Gian Bautista, and Maxine Esteban for their various fundraising and relief efforts, which provided much needed support and comfort to those heavily affected by the pandemic and the different typhoons that hit our country. Muli pagbati sa mga individual na manlalaro at sa mga koponan ng ating pamantasan sa pagtanggap ninyo ngayong taon ng Special Citation for Civic Engagement. Magpapatuloy tayo sa pagkilala sa ating mga estudyante. We now move on to the conferment of the Ascend Awards. The Ateneo Socio-Civic Engagement for National Development Awards aims to honor undergraduate, senior, and graduate students for projects and research work output that demonstrate mastery of subject matter and the capacity for synthetic thinking, while also engaging the larger community outside the Ateneo in contributing to national development. Projects are development interventions that have been implemented with observable impact. Research work output are those that contribute to knowledge creation with the potential for social impact. Given the unfortunate constraints imposed on us by the pandemic, it is understood that all projects and research work have been accomplished through online engagements with concerned communities and organizations. Mga mahal na kaibigan, nais naming ipakilala sa inyo ang mga finalist at ang mga nagwagi sa taong ito ng Ascend Awards.
Gusto talaga namin makapag-aral ngunit mahirap. Sa panahon ngayon, kailangan mo na unahin ang pamilya. Kung galing ka sa mababang antas, nasa dulo ka ng pila. These are only some of the unrelenting grievances our participants from the Pag-asa Youth Association share with around 4 million Filipino out-of-school youth, even before the pandemic struck. In Cagayan de Oro City alone, which served as a site of our study, 46% of students across K-12 weren't able to return to school this academic year.
At the heart of our project was the humble goal of understanding the out-of-school youth through shared Filipino values and generating a thematic analysis that the Oro Youth Development Office could use in lieu of traditional quantitative reports. The results from a local scale prove that an encompassing framework based on a humanistic approach to address social concerns has great potency and necessity to be integrated for any future projects with agendas aligned with national development.
Bilang mga mag-aaral mula sa isang pribilehiyadong institusyon, nasa amin ang pagkakataon upang iangkla ang kung anumang kasangkapan ang nilatag para sa amin upang magsilbing tulay para sa mga sektor katulad ng mga out-of-school youth ng Cagayan de Oro upang mapakinggan at makita ng lipunan.
The nominated project is entitled The Momshi Tracker, and the title takes after the endearing way that the young mothers of the Inang Busog, Batang Malusog program, or IBBM, likes to be called Momshis. The IBBM is a program under the Ateneo Center for Educational Development, or ACE, which was the partner community that I had the honor of having an engagement with. In line with the institution or ACE's mission of bettering conditions for pupils in public schools in the Philippines, they were able to pinpoint that part of what makes it hard for students or pupils to focus when in school is the fact that they have to go to class on an empty stomach. And they further went to the root of this problem by addressing that long-term effects of malnutrition start from the womb, like when a child is being born, or so they took it upon themselves to also make sure that the mothers who bear the children will also be properly nourished. The format of the project is it takes on the form of a user journey map. Think of it like a strategized journaling. The momshis just need guidance and a tool that they can use in order to maximize their agency. The UJM simply presents prompts and guide questions that help the momshis identify pain points and gain points in their experiences, and that this tool can help it become clearer to them, and especially to the institutions responsible for them with a mandate to take care of the well-being of its constituents, to realize where the holes in the system are.
Ahon mula sa Alon hopes to contribute to SDG Target 10.7 to facilitate the orderly, safe, regular, and responsible mobilization and migration of the people. Our project aims to promote reintegration opportunities for our repatriated OFWs. So, we prepared content they wanted to see. Available health services, information about their rights, and reintegration opportunities.
Through our 3 different teams, we were able to expose our audience on building knowledge, navigating post-COVID employment, and sailing the waves of the new normal.
Ahon mula sa Alon, at its core, was able to holistically address the concerns of the OFWs. So we were able to direct a number of participants to relevant government agencies such as the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, where Sir Hans Kakdak, the administrator, was able to speak, and we were able to directly connect some of the audience members to him. So hearing their interest in availing of all of these opportunities and programs to our webinar series was something really heartwarming, and we super appreciate that.
We conducted a webinar series that showcased a variety of speakers from government agencies, NGOs, and private institutions. Through this project, we simply hope to make it easier for our repatriated OFWs to reintegrate themselves in our country. Our goal is for them to find opportunities in the Philippines that may hopefully help them grow in our country together with their families.
An advocacy campaign for Filipino farmers began its implementation at the start of this semester, but its planning and conception have been in motion since the last. Formed from our consistent relationship with our partner community, Pambansang Kilusan ng mga samahang magsasaka or pakisama, the campaign is both informed and enriched by the perspectives of the farmers whose stories we attempted to amplify and, by extension, translate into achievable action. Our campaign is held up by 4 pillars: the information campaign, the nation drive, voters registration campaign, and the capacity building seminar, all of which attempt to target the very stakeholders we identify: the public, our lawmakers, and of course, Filipino farmers. We, that is to say us and our partner community, have achieved the objectives we have set out during our planning stage. The information campaign has surpassed the engagement numbers we detailed. The donation drive garnered our monetary goal. The voters registration campaign yielded connections with well-known politicians. And the capacity building seminar became an avenue for the farmers themselves to thoroughly inspect their organizations. The culminations of these achievements, we believe, has an effect of truly bringing hearts back to farming.
Ambient is a foray in independent research. Our flagship project is a COVID test kit that aims to find the middle ground between the expensive PCR and the less accurate rapid test kits. It is our contribution to the one big fight for public health.
Our group's objectives are rooted in our desire to help contribute to the local diagnostics industry. Our diagnostics are mostly imported, which result into expensive prices when offered to the end user. Moreover, these kits are not tailored to our climate and facilities, which prevents distribution to far-flung areas of our country.
Our group's long-term agenda for national development is to create a Philippines that does not rely on expensive imports for testing and research. We aim to create a simple and affordable COVID-19 diagnostics workflow in hopes that this will augment our country's testing capacity.
We have raised 600,000 and we have done the appropriate research for our ideal kit. Currently, the COVID test kit is in its preclinical stage and is approaching the clinical stage thanks to the scientists at ARISE and at the bigger buy-in. We've set up an institution with the right structures and the right connections to allow future batches to continue independent research for Filipinos by Filipinos.
Among the current disadvantages that indigenous peoples face is the lack of access to culture-responsive basic education. My advocacy is to increase Filipinos' awareness of the cultural heritage of the indigenous groups here in our country by attending to their educational needs in schools.
Hence, the goal of my study was to investigate the benefits of using the indigenous materials in the learning of addition and subtraction of fractions. I had a chance to interview some Dumagat elders about their culture, including the local materials that exist in their environment. I also asked a few children about their school and found that these Dumagat students have poor numeracy skills. And I came up with an idea to focus my research on the learning of fractions using their local materials. One special practice of theirs that caught my attention is the betel nut chewing, or pagmamaman as they call it. One of the ingredients used is the betel leaf, or the dahon ng ikmo in Tagalog. Hence, I decided to include this material in my study alongside bamboo sticks and woven trays that are also available in their environment. The lessons I designed served as the first set of indigenized lessons on one of the most difficult foundational topics in elementary mathematics. I believe my study could serve as a model and inspiration to other curriculum writers and developers.
COVID-19 pandemic has forced Philippine education to adopt remote learning as its forefront strategy. Now, this transition, specifically in adopting online learning, tends to disadvantage marginalized learners since they have limited access to the internet and other related resources. Now, the goal of this project was to provide students, teachers, parents, and other stakeholders in the community with high quality, free open educational resources that can be accessed in specific areas in the community even without the use of the internet or high-end devices. There was an urgent request to make it useful to as many students and as many grade levels as possible. Now, with the coverage of learning materials extending to include all sciences, that would be biology, physics, chemistry, and earth science. And it also now includes mathematics, social studies, and English from grade 7 to 10. We also brought the network to a greater number of learners. So this is in collaboration with the Barangay LGU. So we already put 3 more locations where the students could access these learning materials for free, 24/7. Now with this, it promotes and makes inclusive education possible. And definitely, with this project, we provided solution to the problem caused by the digital divide.
Once more, congratulations to all our Ascend finalists and winners for their exemplary work and meaningful contributions to building our nation. Pagbati rin sa inyong mga guro na nakatuwang sa inyong mga proyekto at pananaliksik. Now, we move on to the Loyola Schools Awards for Leadership and Service, which seeks to recognize the efforts of individuals and groups from the Ateneo de Manila University who are of service to others, especially to those from marginalized sectors and communities. Amidst the constraints and restrictions brought about by the pandemic, these individuals and groups rose to the challenge and found meaningful, creative, and life-giving ways to continue to lead and serve and make a difference in people's lives. Today, we honor their efforts and show them our appreciation, beginning with the recognition of this year's Most Outstanding Project. The Most Outstanding Project is awarded to a service-oriented project mounted by an individual student or a student group that aims to further the thrusts of the Ateneo in contributing to the development goals of the nation. The finalists and eventual winner are chosen on the basis of impact and sustainability, innovation, efficient use of resources, and alignment with the Ateneo Vision Mission. Kilalanin po natin ang mga finalist at ang nagwagi para sa taong ito ng Ellis Award for Most Outstanding Project.
Educating the youth on the crucial role that businesses play in sustainable development. It started as a one-day seminar with around 100 high school students and then grew into a two-day conference with around 200 participants. This year, ACSC was held as a week-long online conference with around 350 participants from all over the country who are interested in learning more about corporate sustainability.
We believe that ACSC's biggest impact is that it built among its participants an organizing team, a community where they can freely discuss about sustainability, thereby socially integrating them despite being socially distanced.
More importantly, we gave high school students from all over the country an avenue to meet new people, engage with like-minded individuals, and channel their energy and critical thinking skills into a cause at a time when they are experiencing a downturn in their extracurricular activity and their overall social life.
Ultimately, ACSC this year not only fulfilled its objective of contributing to societal development, but also social inclusion, which is an important aspect that is often overlooked at these times.
Our biggest takeaway is that learning about corporate sustainability never stops. As future leaders of this world, the responsibility to steer our society toward a more sustainable future, whether as critical consumers or civic-minded business leaders, falls on us, the youth.
Representative from Bangon Banaba, a non-profit charity that was established in November 2020 for the benefit of Barangay Banaba in San Mateo, Rizal. The initiative was brought about after Typhoon Ulysses devastated the community and their housing. We saw how badly the typhoon had affected San Mateo, where we had previously immersed with the families for our NSTP. And we knew we wanted to help. Because of their proximity to Nangka and Marikina River, Banaba was submerged and the floodwater reached up to the second story of houses. After the storm, the houses in Banaba lost their roofs and walls, and many needed to be repaired or even rebuilt. Our project was called Bangon Banaba because we had the goal of helping their efforts rebuild so they can rise from this devastating calamity. Our initial goal was 50,000 pesos in order to cover the expenses for the rebuild of 2 houses that were completely destroyed in the flood. We also accepted donations for baby essentials since the mothers in the area lost their belongings in the aftermath. By the end of our project a month later, we were able to go above and beyond our goal and raise 145,601 pesos that covered not only the construction of 2 houses and medicine for those in need, but the repairs of other houses as well. With the help of our generous donors, Banaba was able to rebuild again. We're very grateful for everyone who helped. Because of them, we were able to assist the community in providing long-term solutions by helping them construct more stable and concrete houses. Through immersion, we were able to get to know the people in the community beyond their needs. And because of that, it is important that our time with them doesn't stop when NSTP ends. We all hopped aboard Bangon Banaba not simply to provide aid to these people, but because we wanted to help the community that welcomed us and made us feel at home.
In the middle of this global pandemic, the Health Sciences Society reignites its commitment to making sure that public health is and stays relevant in society. The future of public health in the Philippines lies in the hands of the youth. And as the Health Sciences Society advocates for a multifaceted perspective on health, we have launched the HSS Catalyst, a public health crash course which aims to bridge talented young individuals from senior high schools all over the country to resources and mentors in public health.
Catalyst is Health Sciences Society's flagship project with the goal of providing an avenue for senior high school students to have public health discussions and to bring more awareness on its multidisciplinarity and relevance today. Our 72 participants coming from various high schools from all over the country were able to learn more about public health and collaborate with their groups to devise their solutions to common public health issues.
The greatest contribution of Catalyst this year was its ability to not only create an influential impact on our generation's next public health servant leaders, but with the theme of the project this year being leadership and governance, we were able to not only plant the seed to ignite the passion to start the discussions for public health, but to also uplift our youth. With this, Catalyst aims to not only inspire the next generation's public health servant leaders, but to also include them in the active discussion for public health. And we also encourage the sharing of our university's shared values for servant leadership within the nation and within our institution as well.
One of the co-founders of My 20 Ako. It is a youth-led project that encourages benefactors to donate as low as 20 pesos to buy grocery packs and hygiene kits for the homeless, informal workers, and other different causes. Why 20 pesos? Pwede namang 500, pwede namang 100. Some people are discouraged to donate because they feel like they're required to give a huge amount. We're able to change this notion because they can allot 20 pesos for a good cause. Aside from the Ambagan of 20s, we also thought of income-generating projects such as jersey auctions, COVID care package, and cookies for a cause. We gave out meals and hygiene kits such as PPEs, alcohol, disinfectants, and the likes to our public hospital frontliners in Metro Manila, Mindoro Islands, Pangasinan, Cagayan Province, Batangas, Bicol, Laguna, Bukidnon hospitals. We did the same to our military checkpoint frontliners, fire volunteers, and also to Malate and Paco Catholic School who sheltered the homeless during the height of the pandemic. We gave out snacks, worksheets, and therapy toys for the kids with cancer and PGH, indigenous med kids in Quezon and Navotas City. We distributed grocery items to the jeepney and pedicab drivers and construction workers who lost their jobs during the pandemic. We had Typhoon Rolly Relief operations in Bicol, Typhoon Ulysses operations and rehabilitation project in Marikina, Cagayan, and Rizal. Recently, we have raised funds to buy vegetables and hygiene kits to support the community pantries in Malabon and Navotas City. We have ongoing low donations for the online schooling of our public school student beneficiaries. The Filipino youth are being seen as mere keyboard warriors every time we express our grievances regarding the handling of the pandemic. We are often asked, ano bang ambag mo? What's your contribution? To which we answer, edi may 20 ako.
Sangga is a project that aims to support the staff of Ateneo who have been rendered unemployed by the pandemic's lockdown. We wish to offer support from short-term to long-term through initiatives such as monetary donations to capacity building and job opportunities. The project started during the height of the unemployment crisis brought about by the initial ECQ. The Sanggunian believes that although monetary donations are helpful, this should coexist alongside more sustainable actions in order to support the dignified lives our beloved staff members deserve. In this spirit, we created a short to long-term action plan, varying in levels of aid and support that could be sustainable, especially since the end of the lockdown seems very uncertain.
Currently, PK's pool of partners ranges from the staff of the AMPC, Q Matrix, Blue and Gold, Megaforce, some JSEC stalls, and some cafeteria sub-concessionaire stalls. We hope to reach out to more, including the dormitory staff. Our short-term aid goal is to provide each partner with 5,000 pesos. We've collected enough to meet the AMPC and SKU Matrix cluster and are currently striving to meet the Blue and Gold and Megaforce goal. For medium-term aid, PK aims to make external partnerships to help support the non-monetary needs specified by our sector. These include gadgets for distance learning for their children, medicine for their families, opportunities, and other initiatives that they themselves say that they need. PK has both approached partners for this goal and has been approached by generous and proactive partners.
So Project Proverbs is a non-profit initiative that is dedicated to giving Filipino children a proper environment to live in with the proper means to flourish and grow by providing for basic needs such as food supplies, hygiene kits, and baby products. So my sisters and I created this non-profit initiative right before the pandemic hit. And it was very timely because we saw the great need in our nation that needed to be addressed, especially concerning Filipino children. So we invest in the next generation of our nation to ensure a better childhood and future for them. So through donation drives, outreach programs, fundraising events, every effort in the nation is used to benefit these children. So for phase 1 of our project, we reached out to different orphanages and homes across the Philippines, and we were able to distribute about 150,000 pesos worth of food supplies, hygiene goods, and baby products to these homes. For phase 2 of our project, we reached out and helped victims of Typhoon Ulysses by distributing over 1.3 million worth of relief goods, construction materials to rebuild homes, livelihood packs, medicine and first aid kits, and also financial subsidies. Right now, we are in the middle of our phase 3, which is really just helping and providing relief to COVID-19 victims. And so far, we have distributed and donated about 500,000 worth of relief. So we foresee a nation filled with children who are embraced by God's love, allowing them to live with purpose, integrity, and truth. And through this initiative, we aim to be vessels of that very same love. For when you invest in the next generation, you are investing in the future of our nation.
Our biggest impact is that we encourage the youth in volunteerism and community work. We are not required to give beyond our means. In fact, we can help in your own little ways, and these small acts of kindness combined together creates a big difference. We just try. There's no harm in trying, especially if you're doing it for a cause you believe in. Every talent, skills, and anything you have has a purpose. If you're an artist, offer your art. If you're good at organizing, help in project management. If you have influence, you can help market the project. Our beginnings may seem humble as we tend to look down on ourselves, but all of us have something to offer. So thank you so much, and please continue to support our initiatives.
Congratulations once more to our finalists and esteemed winner for the LS Awards category of Most Outstanding Project for the amazing and commendable work you were all able to achieve. Next, we have the LS Award for Most Outstanding Student Group. The Most Outstanding Student Group is awarded to any duly recognized group or organization that exemplifies excellence in thoughtfully organized projects and activities, which have successfully and/or continuously contributed to the development of its target audience and the larger community. The finalists and eventual winner are selected on the basis of their commitment to excellence, innovation, impact and sustainability, and how they live out the Ignatian principles and values. Mga kaibigan, kilalanin natin at bigyang pugay ang finalists at ang nagwagi ngayong taong ito ng Most Outstanding Student Group.
Hello, we are the Ateneo Consultants for Organization Development and Empowerment, or Ateneo Code. We envision a society of developed individuals by forming sustainable environments conducive for people to flourish. Through the practice of organization development, we aim to form the youth and youth-oriented organizations that will initiate positive change within the community. This school year, some notable efforts or key initiatives that concretize how we strive for excellence would be 1. Offering our main service, which is organization development, consultations, and interventions to youth organizations across the nation. Second, we were able to execute our flagship project, Exchange, which is an organization development seminar, and contextualized it this school year to better aid the youth in navigating volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous circumstances, or a VUCA environment. For example, with transitioning to the online setting better. Finally, we're able to invest more into our members by offering member relations and development opportunities for them to grow as individuals as well as alongside one another. At the end of the day, we hope to tap into the potential of the youth in becoming the best versions of themselves as the future leaders of the nation. Once again, we are Ateneo Code. Always, in all ways, Code serves.
The Ateneo Registration Committee, or RegCom, is a body of select student volunteers tasked by the Registrar's Office to enforce and facilitate the registration processes. And we also assist all the academic departments, the administrative offices, the personnel, and the students involved in it. In other words, we in RegCom are like your helping hands pagdating sa Reg period. And our job is to make sure that the Loyola Schools community experiences an efficient and effective Reg period. At the heart of the organization and its members, RegCom upholds 4 core values that encapsulate the nature of our work. That's service, volunteerism, discipline, and commitment. We advocate for a smooth and accessible registration process, not just for the students but for the whole Loyola Schools community. Yes, we primarily help out the students, but we also help out the faculty, the departments, and the offices by nature of participating in the planning sessions for each registration period schedule, information dissemination through our social media pages, and at times logistical assistance when need be. Through information dissemination, we decided to strengthen our social media presence and engagement so that we can properly reach the whole of the LS community during the quarantine. In RegCom, we believe that each student we help is a future leader that we can help change or transform the world for better.
We are the Council of Organizations of the Ateneo Manila, or COAM, and we are the confederation of all the 56 accredited student organizations in the university. So our main role is to provide proactive service for all our organizations, respond to their needs and concerns, and of course empower our wonderful org community.
With 56 accredited orgs and roughly 80% of Ateneans being org members, our org community is definitely filled with passionate individuals and very important advocacies. And so as a council, we really wanted to help them grow and thrive online, not just for the benefit of our university, but for the benefit of the nation as a whole.
Our first big project of the year was COAM Rec Week 2020 last September, which aimed to assist our organizations in promoting themselves and recruiting members. Initiatives to collect input from them were consistently done throughout the year. These included events like the annual COA Convention, the first ever COAM Project Management Conference, and regular meetings within our clusters and orgs. From the feedback we received, COAM worked to prepare solutions to respond to these needs. These included initiatives to help orgs adjust to the online setting and provide them resources to further their advocacies, including workshops on social media marketing, mental health first aid, project management, live streaming, resource mobilization, as well as subsidies for projects, online promotions, and transportation.
In spite of the pandemic, COAM has continued to emphasize and recognize the importance of student organizations. That's not just a place for learning and growth, but it's where one can discover their own passions and stand for an advocacy.
The Intact Student Facilitator Corps. We are the primary student arm of the Intact program, and we serve as co-implementers and co-creators in the program. In addition to becoming student facilitators ourselves, we help manage the program, and we also handle the welfare and the recruitment process of the other student facilitators. Our goal is to constantly have a growth-oriented mindset where we cultivate the student facilitators in the program and we innovate the modules for the freshies. We want the Intact program to be equipped with the best content and the best facilitators so that our freshies learn more about Ateneo and integrate well in the community.
The basis of the INTACT program is interpersonal engagement between the SFs, the freshies, and the HAs. Because of the pandemic, it honestly became one of our major challenges. How can we retain that engagement? And furthermore, how can we strengthen interpersonal relationships in an online setting? Although limited to the screens of our devices, the INTACT program would not just merely survive, but thrive. We didn't only adjust, we aligned our recruitment process to the needs of the freshies. We also innovated our modules to fit the current situation of the online platform, welcoming a new batch of freshies to the Ateneo community, training a new batch of SFs to the INTACT program, and adjusting all of our modules for both asynchronous and synchronous learning were some of our major accomplishments this year.
Ateneo, the student arm of Kite Foundation Inc. We are a non-profit organization that caters to pediatric patients and their families all over the Philippines. We aim to uplift their spirits and give them the healing they deserve through the practice of child life services. Through therapeutic play and hospital volunteerism, Child Life Services specializes in promoting optimum growth and fostering development. In simpler terms, it's looking out for the mental and social well-being of these kids and their families because these play an integral role in the process of healing. This year, we were able to successfully transition to Tele-Child Life Services. With the help of our parent organization, we executed multiple synchronous events and provided psychosocial support to over 200 kids and their families. Asynchronously, we created hospital activity booklets that contained educational modules, various learning activities, and sent these out to our partner public hospitals. We spearheaded initiatives to continue to spread their advocacy, to spread awareness on it, and allow people to partake in it with donation drives such as Hair to Share. Overall, through love and hope, we were able to strengthen our practice and advocacy of child life services. In everything that we do in Kite Ateneo, in the spirit of service, passion, action, and direction, we do it always and in all ways for and with the kids.
Sanggunian focused on 5 main thrusts, that is, student engagement, community collaboration, transparency, member growth and development, and nation building. It can all be generally blanketed under 3 main categories. So first, with our supporting of the students towards the transition to online setup, we did this through pushing for the SSS, for student academic subsidies, research partnership program, mental health subsidies, and social political safeguarding bill. Then for pushing for student-centered advocacies, we pushed for services, projects, and initiatives that deepen the discussion for mental health, gender equality, indigenous people, anti-sexual misconduct and violence, and of course, disability inclusion. Lastly, our advocacies external to the Ateneo, we pushed for projects such as Pangga Kasangga, different statements, protests, and different challenges essentially given.
Sanggunian ng mga mag-aaral ng mga paaralang Loyola ng Ateneo de Manila na naglilingkod at nagbubuklod tungo sa mapagmahal, makatarungan at makataong lipunan. Kumikilos sa sanggunian upang ipabatid, ipaunawa at ipadama sa mga mag-aaral na bahagi tayo ng iisang komunidad kung saan may boses ang bawat isa at naiintindihan ng lahat ang boses natin. Hindi lamang sa loob ng pamantasan, kundi pati na rin sa mas malawak na lipunang ginagalawan natin bilang mga Pilipino. Motivate Sanggu to carry on and serve is its sense of responsibility and purpose to the LS student body and to the community and nation at large. And I guess this is also Sanggu's greatest challenge because there is a diverse set of interests and needs to represent all the while facing different crises and being normal students. But until there are students to serve, Sanggu shall never cease to serve.
Muli mainit na pagbati ng tagumpay sa inyo, mga finalists at nagwagi ng ating LS Award for Most Outstanding Student Group. We thank you for your continuous pursuit of excellence and commitment to serving others. Finally, we move to the LS Award for Most Outstanding Individual. The Most Outstanding Individual is given to a college student who has demonstrated exemplary involvement in co-curricular and/or extracurricular activities that have positively contributed to the community within and beyond Ateneo. The finalists and eventual winner are selected on the basis of student leadership, their manner of living out the Ignatian principles and values, and their impact to the large community, lalong-lalo na sa mga nasa laylayan ng ating lipunan. Mga kaibigan, ipinapakilala ko po sa inyo ang mga finalist at ang magwawagi ng LS Award for Most Outstanding Individual.
Hello, I am Gerard Afable from 4 AV Pulsi, and ever since I was a freshman, I joined 3 organizations. I joined Sanggu because I have always been interested in the student government, and through exposure to different advocacies, people, and opportunities in externals, I also wanted to understand how I can be of service to both the school and to the community. I joined Lights for Hope because I was interested in being a part of a yearly project that aimed to create relationships with the Ateneo community and eventually transitioning into a more sustainable manifestation of our core values. I joined Make-A-Wish Philippines because my family background is in the medical field. Here, I am a Wish General, so I help lead teams in planning, executing, and evaluating multiple projects for our Wish Kids. In Sanggu, I served as the representative for the sports club sector, lobbying for financial and logistical support for return to on-site, and also helping out a group that is working towards the representation of varsity athletes as well. I also served as the chairperson for externals in Sanggu, and that looks like supporting the different partnerships, capacity building sessions, and project management for different projects, as well as online production for the events of the different units. In Lights for Hope, I served as the lead student coordinator, and we took the organization in a new direction of engagement through year-long meaningful partnerships in pursuit of sustainability. I choose to serve because being human means caring for others and being one with the community at large.
Hello, I'm Patricia Aquino, or Aki. I'm a senior taking up BS Management Engineering. So going into college, I was always intrigued by Ateneo's resident student organizations. In high school, I actually never really got the chance or the opportunity to actively participate in an advocacy. But since I was really interested in public service at the time, I took a chance and joined the Council of Organizations of the Ateneo Manila in my freshman year. It all just then followed from there. Throughout the past years, I've served as the Council's Human Resources Officer in charge. I ran for Central Board as the Chief of Staff. I've headed projects here and there, and now I oversee COA-M as the President. I've also been active in many other organizations along the way by participating in orgs and projects like MEA, my home org, Ateneo Edge, ANS, ORSEM, and so many others to the point that I actually joined 10 of them in my sophomore year. This was all because I had so many passions and advocacies I wanted to be a part of, and thankfully the orgs in our community really fulfilled those aspirations of mine. But what really pulled me to be active in these organizations and pursue the opportunities where I could serve the org community was my strong belief in empowering our youth, empowering our students to participate in advocacies. This is the core of why I continue to serve. I want to support these very groups and spaces that foster our new wave of leaders who will grow to serve their own communities and challenge the status quo.
Hi, I'm Christina Batalla. You can call me Tina from 4AB Development Studies with a minor in Sociology. With Ateneo Code, I designed and facilitated sessions for leadership training and organization development for high school and college students. This includes the creation of a vision, mission, and even revising constitutions and structures, all to improve their respective operations. With GoodGovPH, I helped create programs and research outputs for civic engagement and youth participation in local governance, such as Bantay Bayan, the Usap Tayo forums turned podcast, and the Good Youth Governance campaign, which starts this 2021 through the Seal of Good Youth Governance program, aiming to empower our Sangguniang Kabataan and local youth development councils across the country. With the Guidon, I produced video stories, articles, and photo essays that shed light on the successes and pains of fighting for human rights, whether through a protest, a picket, a petition, a march, or a campaign. And finally, with the League of Independent Organizations, I led the expansion of a community sector that emboldens young, new organizations to uplift their passions and advocacies in the Ateneo community. I chose to serve in these organizations because of their values, their vision, and their mission, which is generally to empathize with others and to harness the power of great conversation and storytelling in order to bridge gaps between people and within ourselves.
Hi, I'm JB Beharin. I'm from 3AB Post MPM. I've been in Sanggu for the past 3 years of my college life, but I've also found ways to volunteer as a mass server under the ACMG and find volunteer opportunities to help the country under OVP Philippines. But I've chosen to be part of Sanggu, part of our student government, because after leaving senior high, it's where I knew I could contribute the most and where I was most needed. But little did I know that it's also where I would grow the most, not only as a student leader, but also as an individual. And it's really where I got to pursue my advocacies and where my beliefs and principles got tested inevitably. In terms of advocacies, well, I always advocated for student participation, community stakeholder engagement, and building institutions. And it's always been a humbling experience to serve the Loyola Schools community as a student leader because nagtaya ako dito nang hindi ko naman talaga alam talaga kung ano lahat ng pagdadaanan ko. Pero nagtiwala ako sa potential nito, sa potential ng mga estudyante at sa potential ng komunidad natin, lalo na sa mas malaking lipunan na ginagalawan natin.
Esteban, and I'm a junior management engineering student. When I entered Ateneo in 2018 as a member and later on team captain of the women's fencing team, it was very clear to me that my goal was to motivate and to propel the team to win that elusive UAAP championship crown. Our team trained really hard, we motivated one another, and went on to capture the season 81 overall women's fencing championship. And when I was awarded the Lady Eagle of the Year, the Mora Lorenzo, the Rookie of the Year, and MVP awards all in the same year, I found myself pondering on the words Ad Maiorem Dei Gloriam. One day, I woke up and just realized that I can and should utilize my platform to reach out and help in any way I can. My project, A Small Thing Goes a Long Way, started with a call for donations. We were happy to accumulate 500,000 pesos and was able to donate rice, PPEs, alcohols, and COVID-19 pillows. We forged a partnership with the Office of the Vice President's Bayanihan Eskwela Tulong-Tulong sa Education project. The project's objective is to come up with instructional videos for teachers, parents, and students to help them transition towards distance learning. Under his program, we also set up e-learning centers equipped with tablets and learning materials in the far-flung barrios and several public schools. Aside from this, our group has chosen to send tablets for the staff of some beneficiary schools As the overall head of this project, I am personally in charge with the solicitation, coordination, conception, and logistics of all fundraising activities to support the Bayanihan Eskwela project. No matter what one's contribution is, a small thing definitely goes a long way.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Masaka from 3AB Development Studies. Throughout the course of my stay here in the Ateneo, I've been given opportunities to deepen this advocacy. Ateneo Code showed me the value of investing in youth organizations because youth leaders have strength in numbers. Project Laan helped me to embrace my personal interest in public health through community-based health programs, which inspired me to pursue a minor in health and development. ASLA provided me a space to challenge myself as a leader, and this has propelled me to work in various legal and public health organizations to champion the plight of vulnerable sectors of society as I aspire to work as a lawyer in this field one day. Finally, DevSoc has believed in me enough so that I can culminate and translate all of these learnings into a space that empowers more young people to be involved in the practice and discourse of development. As the Vice President for Research and Development, I sought to redefine how young people can get involved in development by establishing a consultancy program where Ateneans can apply basic principles of development in order to aid organizations in conducting their community engagements, especially in COVID-19. We've also created programs where Ateneans and leaders who represent marginalized communities can launch initiatives of their own to respond to various development issues on the ground. It is my great honor to be given an opportunity from the Ateneo to contribute to this movement, where young leaders have expressed their drive to innovate and imagine multiple possibilities for social change beyond our current reality.
Leading the League of Independent Organizations reminded me that youth empowerment is not just a matter of lip service. And certainly, it cannot be done alone. It takes a patiently rooted village and more to create change. As a community, we must collaborate to transform the stigma as well as the policies and structures in our institutions in order to deliver the right resources needed by youth organizations to flourish.
Muli pagbati ng paghanga at pagpupugay sa lahat ng ating mga finalists at sa natatanging nagwagi ng ating Ellis Award for Most Outstanding Individual. Pasasalamat para sa bawat isa sa inyo sa inyong natatanging pagbibigay ng sarili at kahanga-hangang pamumuno. As our event now comes to a close, let us listen to our University President, Father Roberto C. Yap of the Society of Jesus, as he joins us in this special celebration of student leadership and service. Let us give Father Bobby a warm welcome as he addresses our finalists and winners for this year's Paghahandog.
Amid the suffering that we continue to experience because of the pandemic, an event such as this is like a long, cold drink of water in the heat of summer and provides much-needed hope and inspiration to souls thirsty for them. Through your achievements, leadership, and acts of service during one of the most challenging years of our lifetime, all of you shortlisted candidates and awardees alike give us hope for the future, that our society can be better, kinder, and more equitable because of your presence and your work. I congratulate each of you for what you have accomplished during this past year, and I celebrate with you for the recognition accorded you by your peers and mentors. But more than this, I thank you for affirming in your young lives the values that we uphold as a university. service, and excellence for the greater glory of God. I pray that as you begin your journey outside the walls of Ateneo de Manila, you will continue to bring God's light to the world and shine it in the darkest places. Lux in Domino. Thank you, and my warmest congratulations to all awardees.
Thank you very much, Father Bobby, for that heartwarming and very inspiring message. Thank you for reminding us that we are lux in Domino, light in the Lord. Maging tanglaw nawa gaya ng liwanag ng Panginoon ang kahusayan ng ating mga estudyante maging sa labas ng ating pamantasan. Sa pagwawakas ng ating programa sa araw na ito, muli nating binibigyang pugay at pagkilala ang ating mga estudyanteng pinuno sa kanilang kahanga-hangang ginawa at napagtagumpayan. Congratulations once more to our student athletes and sports teams who received special citations for their civic engagements. To all our Ascend awardees for your incredible projects and research work. And to all the finalists and winners for this year's Loyola Schools Awards for Leadership and Service. May you all continue to inspire hope and genuine transformation within and beyond the Ateneo community. And may your passion for leadership and service continue to burn brightly and encourage more young people like you to do the same. Muli, ako po si Ariel Diccion, ang tagapagdaloy ng programa ngayong araw na ito. Thank you for being part of Paghahandog 2021, a celebration of your leadership and service.